Greetings, fellow investigators, and welcome back to our video podcast, Into the Darkness, where my friends and I play the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. I'm your host, Tom Rayleigh. The scenario is Painted Smile. It was written by Richard Watts and Keith Herber. You'll find it in a collection titled Tales from the Miskatonic Valley. I am your game master, and this is episode 3. So, without further delay, let's continue our journey into the darkness. All right. Robert DePaster has just been attacked by this doll. He has managed to smash it on the ground. And each of you is currently probably either walking up to your front door or you are inside your house somewhere. A few days have gone by, and the only Dr. Virgil has done an autopsy on the old woman. She died of natural causes. And she's been buried in the Potter's Field at St. Clair Cemetery. Start with Robert. Robert, after your harrowing experience, what do you do?
Probably stare in shock for a few minutes before I check in the trunk if there's any other dolls that I did not know were in the trunk.
Nothing else is in there.
I think I'll try and take a look at the remnants of the doll, see if anything strange is on them
All right.
or something.
Go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
Okay. No, that's a fail.
Okay. As you look over the doll, the arms, the legs, and the head are made out of china. The body is made out of cloth. The dress and everything looks very nicely stitched. A lot of love and care was put into the doll. It has blonde, curly hair. Of course, now it's smashed to pieces, and it shows nothing unusual, nothing that you see, and it's no longer animated at all.
So I think I'm going to be freaking out a bit. I'll try and step on the doll a bit more, crush it if there's any pieces still left intact. And then maybe try and kick it around, scatter it.
Okay. Now you're going to have all these broken pieces of porcelain in your front lawn.
Once I see that, I'm like, oh shit, I'll go try and find a broom and clean this up before one sees this strange sitting next to my car.
All right. You clean up the big pieces and the other doll parts, and probably put them in the trash can outside.
Yeah, not inside.
But you are very unnerved. What else would you like to do?
What time is it right now?
We'll say at this point it's around 7 in the evening.
I think I'll call. I think Portland, the only one who will believe what this happened. We'll try and call him and see if he answers.
Ring.
Hello.
Portland, you won't believe what oh my god, I just it's the dolls. Portland, you're right. It's the dolls.
Well, you got attacked by a doll?
It got into my car somehow and it nearly killed me, Portland.
Oh God. We must come to me. We'll be safer together.
I'm coming. I'm driving right back. Oh, a few minutes, and I'll get my stuff and drive on.
All right. Okay. Langston, what you up to?
Well, since we left Miss Frank's house, I've been pretty paranoid, been staying inside my house. I've called down to the museum and told them I won't be in for a few days. I've had difficulty sleeping. I've tried to contact my personal physician to try to get some kind of sedative or something to help me get some rest, but I've just holed up trying to get the image of that life-size doll that was moving and clutching its own throat and chest as Miss Franks died out of my head.
Yeah, it those cold little lifeless doll eyes staring at you. That's it's pretty unnerving. What are you going to have for dinner tonight?
Uh, well, I'm looking around and not seeing much. I haven't called out for food in a while. There's some bread and some cheese, and so I'm no, I need to eat. Don't have much of an appetite, but I'll probably pull the cheese out and try just some bread and cheese.
Slice some cheese and all right. You fix yourself a nice little plate of cheese and bread. You maybe make yourself some tea or coffee, and you go sit in your living room. Um, what do you do for entertainment? Do you listen to the radio or?
Yeah, it's a nice distraction. Just something noise in the living room.
All right.
Probably the newscast.
You finish your cheese and bread, and you're listening to the radio. And after a bit, maybe you sit there for half an hour or so. You get up, take your plate into the kitchen, and as you step into the kitchen, you realize that the cheese knife, which you'd left lying there next to the hunk of cheese, the cheese knife is missing, and it's definitely not in the slot.
Well, I sometimes misplace. I'm looking on the floor. Um, did I drop it? I'm not seeing it. I take it.
You look around. You're leaning over. You're looking around the floor to see if it maybe fell and went under the cabinet or the counter. And do a listen roll for me.
That's a fail.
Okay. You get a strange sort of feeling like you're being watched, but you don't hear anything. You can't find the knife. Maybe you took it with you out into the living room. You start walking in that direction, and all of a sudden, one of your lamps across the room turns off. Darkening that part of the room.
So I have to sort of double grip my walking cane. Who's there? Is someone there?
You don't hear anything. It's not a large room.
So I'll peer in any light at all.
Yeah, you've still got another lamp going in there.
Is the lamp turned? Has it fallen? Or
No,
is
it's just gone out.
just probably the bulbs burned out. So I sort of relax a bit, step into the living room, still looking around and checking over by my armchair for my missing cheese knife.
Do a spot hidden for me.
Oh, that's a fumble.
Okay.
Indeed.
All right. You get down on your hands and knees to look under your couch to see if there's anything there. And you kind of take your hand and check to see if there's anything there. And something jabs your hand.
Oh.
And it might be that you found your knife, but you didn't mean to cut yourself. And you find that your finger is bleeding a little bit. Do a listen roll.
It's a 56, which is not quite good enough. By quite a, it's a fail.
Okay. Well, you make a lot of noise. Ow, son of a bitch. As you stand up, your fingers bleeding. And as you're standing there, your other light goes out, and suddenly you're plunged into. It's still a little bit light outside. It's early evening, but it's pretty dim inside your living room. There's light coming from your kitchen.
God damn it. Okay, I'll go to the kitchen to look for. I've keep some bandages in there. I may have a torch that's in a drawer or something. I can see what's going on with the electrical lights in the living room.
And as you move in that direction, once again, do a listen roll.
Hey, I think I might have finally heard something. That's an 18
Right.
out of 20.
Just as you're passing from the couch to the entrance to your kitchen, you hear something. It sounds like it's around behind your couch. Sounds like the pitter patter of little feet.
Okay, there's definitely something in here with me. I want to head out the back kitchen door.
Okay. You get to the
And-
back kitchen door and you open it and you step outside.
I just want to catch my breath. Do I see any motion through the windows or anything like that?
We'll do a spot hidden for me.
That's an 81. That's a fail.
You don't see anything. It's all shadows in there because of the living room lights are out.
Okay. I think at this point I would knock on my neighbor's door and see if there's somebody home.
Okay. You knock on your neighbor's door and Mrs. O'Leary answers the door. Oh, Langston, what can I do for you?
I'm sorry to bother you at this hour. It's just I'm not sure. There's something or someone perhaps in my house. May I use your telephone? Is your
Of course, yes. She takes you inside, shows you her phone. You've probably been in her house before.
Yeah. I'm debating in my head about whether I'm being too paranoid to call the police or to call one of the people who've seen the things I've seen. So I want to try to give a Virgil a call,
Okay.
and see if he thinks I'm being paranoid or if he's how things have been the last couple of days.
All right. Bring.
Hello, Sprague residence. How can I help you?
Oh, Virgil, Langston Carter here.
Ah, Carter, how's it going?
Honestly, it's been better. How have you been?
Oh, busy. I was just sitting down here with a good book, a little bit of tea, and my two good dogs sitting at my feet.
Well, you sound like you're doing much better than me. I've had trouble sleeping ever since the Franks incident. I'm actually at my neighbor's house. This is a bit embarrassing. At my neighbor's house at the moment. I swear there's something in my house.
All right, well, I can understand you being a little bit spooked. I mean, we saw some strange stuff that day. Not real sure what I saw, to be honest, but that was kind of freaky. You want me to come over? I can bring the dogs. There's someone in your house. Dogs will sniff them out.
It's a lot to ask. I know it's awkward, but would you mind?
Sure. Hey, Mars, Venus, let's go. And I say, I'll be over there in about 15 minutes.
Thanks a lot, Virgil.
No problem.
All right. Dr. Cope, what are you up to?
Dr. Cope, basically ever since the incident, he's been really uneasy. He's even declined going out of town for a seminar on prehistoric mammals with the university. Right now, he's sitting at home with a glass of brandy with a couple chunks of ice, and he's got his dog, his pug Francis, sitting on his lap, despite him constantly wearing black and knowing that they shed like crazy. He doesn't care right now. He's just slowly petting the dog's head as it snorts peacefully, and he sips on the brandy as he goes.
Okay. All of a sudden, your pug quickly flips over and goes on alert as if it senses there's something nearby. He freezes for a moment, and then he jumps off your lap and he starts running around the room like he's hunting for
Francis?
something.
Francis
You,
sets his glass down.
you see him run over to the doorway leading into your bedroom, and he stops and starts growling.
That's very unusual because Francis has never growled at anyone or anything before. He's often a very even-tempered pooch. So Cope gets up off his study chair that he was sitting on with him and stands next to him. What's up with you, Francis?
The lights
What
are
you
off
smell,
in your
boy?
lights are off in your bedroom.
Dr. Cope kind of stands in front of his pug and turns the knob slowly and starts to open it a little bit, opening it slowly.
Yeah, it's getting dark outside, so it's kind of dark in there. And when you do that, your pug takes a couple of steps into the room, once again like he's looking for something, but then he immediately stops and he backs out and barks a few times and barks at the darkness in your room.
I look towards the window in my bedroom. Is it open?
Yeah, your window's open. Fresh air.
All right, whoever's in here, show yourself right now. Slowly takes a step inside. Hey!
You gonna turn the light on?
Yeah.
Okay, you turn the light on. There's
Flip the
nothing
light
there.
on.
Nothing there. You look down at your pug, and he gives you one of those funny looks up at you for a moment, and then he's definitely starts growling again, but he's looking under the bed.
Dr. Cope kind of sees that and then at the doorway still slowly gets down to where he can look in under the bed.
How to do a spot hidden, because it's pretty dark.
All right.
It's
See what my spot hidden is and roll away.
got one of those nice big beds.
38, so that's a pass.
All right. You can see that there's something under there. It's kind of in the middle of the bed, but against the wall, like as far away from the light as it can get, and it looks roughly like cloth.
At this point, Cope looks for his walking cane,
Okay.
and he's going to reach under the bed and try to swat whatever that is under there out.
Are you swatting at it with the pointy end or with the hooked end? of your cane?
The hooked end.
Okay. So you do that and you manage to snag it. And you can push it away or pull it towards you.
I'm trying to pull it out from under the bed so I can
All right.
see what it is.
You pull it out from under the bed, and you're rather horrified to see that it is a doll. It's a little baby doll, like wrapped in, like it would be an infant. Still has little arms and legs. Still made out of porcelain, and you can tell the workmanship on it is probably that fucking woman. But it's just lying there, and the dog does not like it.
Oh, fuck this shit. He reaches down to grab the doll, and he's going to take it to the fireplace.
Okay. Well, luck roll.
Luck roll. Watch me botch. I did not by 2 points. 58 out of 60.
All right. As you're carrying it towards the fireplace, it suddenly starts kicking and struggling in your hand. But you've gotten there quick enough where you can just fling it, before it can do anything. You fling it into the fire, and it takes almost no effort at all for it to suddenly burst into flame. And you see its little arms and legs doing this, and the dog goes bananas. And you're watching this little thing like a baby being burned alive, and eventually the cloth parts all burn away, and the little head rolls out of the fire, and the arms and legs are left there, and the heat causes it to crack, and sort of half the face breaks away. And you can do a sanity roll. Philip and Robert.
Well, I got a 100.
You can do a 1d4 plus 1.
4 plus 1. Here we go. Oh, gosh. I lost 5 sanity.
All right, 5. Do an intelligence roll.
Intelligence. I hate having high intelligence. 66 out of 75.
Pass. All right. You know what this means. You can do a 1d8 for me then.
1d8. Here we go. A 7.
Okay. I just keep asking to roll things. Let's see, roll one. All right, you suddenly develop it gave you a phobia. I think the appropriate one would be dolls. You now totally understand what Philip's up to, and you are terrified of dolls at this point. So any mention of dolls is going to freak you out totally.
At this point, in reaction to his fear of the dolls, he is going to smash that head into pieces with his cane and then immediately dash to the phone to talk to Philip.
All right. Robert, you were going to Philip's house. You arrive. You park your car, you get out, and you start walking up to Philip's place. Do a spot hidden for me.
Okay. I think that would be a fail. Yeah, that's a fail.
All right. So as you're moving up to his house, you get the distinct impression that there's something in the bushes around his house, something that sort of hops away. You didn't get a chance to see what it was, though.
Oh, fuck.
Might just be a cat or something.
And I'm walking way faster now.
Right.
I
All right.
am
You
well
walk up to
moving.
Phillips. You walked up to Phillips. Philip, you're inside the house, sort of cowering, when there's suddenly a knock, knock, knock at your front
I
door.
don't- I've got my Lee Enfield like on my back, like I'm just. Who is it? Who is it?
Philip, it's me. It's me. It's Robert.
I unlatch. I slowly go up to the door. I unlatch it. I slightly open it. I pull Robert in, and then I start prodding him. Like, I've got to make sure you're not like that big fucking doll.
Portland, I think I saw something moving in the bushes.
Okay, he says that. Philip, do a Constitution roll.
Oh, fuck. No, that's 52, which is a fail.
Okay, so he says that, and just as the realization of that, what that might mean, rushes over you, and you feel the heat rising up inside you, the phone goes brrrring, and you jump 10 feet in the air as Dr. Cope is calling you on the phone.
You, Robert, keep out
Portland.
on the window. Yes. Who is this?
Portland.
Who's this?
It's me, Cope.
Oh, Dr. Cope. Sorry, I'm a little bit startled right now.
You're a little bit startled. I just had a fucking doll sneak into my house and then try to start. It struggled and screamed. I threw it in the damn fire. It yelled and screamed like a baby.
Get Robert's with me. He had a similar experience with apparently the big doll. You know, the one that was at her house.
Have you heard from anyone else?
No, get over here, Cope. It will be safer if we are together.
Are you okay with me bringing Francis?
Yes. He'll be safe.
All right. I'll be there.
Okay. Hurry,
Leaving
hurry.
now. Click.
And fuck. I forgot to tell him to check his car. Shit, damn it. Robert.
Dr. Virgil, your car pulls up in front of Langston's house, and you see Langston on the porch of his neighbor's house, smoking, probably.
I get out of my car. I have on heavy duty leashes Mars and Venus, and I have my walking stick, and I go, I'm here.
Oh,
I wave over to him.
Virgil, thanks for indulging me. It's probably nothing. I've just been holed up in the house a couple of days, but I'd feel better if we both check it out.
Sure. If there's any vermin in your house or someone that isn't supposed to be there, I'm quite sure that Mars and Venus will sniff them out.
What kind of dogs are Mars and Venus?
Weimaners. So yeah, I have big dogs.
Yeah. All right. So you go over to Langston's. The dogs are excited. They like going out and going places. Langston opens up his door. You can see the living room lights are off. And the dogs just sort of rush in the way they always do. Mars runs into the kitchen, and Venus runs into the living room. And you're both sort of making your way into the sort of right inside the door as you're there. And you suddenly hear Venus yip.
All right. I'm going to click on the light and head off where Venus was.
There is
What?
no light there. The lights in the living room are not working.
All right. So you happen to have a torch, Carter?
I did grab one from the kitchen on the way
All right.
out.
Why don't you shine it that way? I'll have my walking stick ready. We'll see what's going on with Venus.
Venus immediately comes out of the dark over by you. She's scared of something, and you can see she's bleeding.
Look,
Oh.
there is something. There is something in the house. There's something
Oh,
in the
I
house.
agree. All right. I call for Mars, and I take a look at Venus. I look at her. I assume her paw or something is cut.
No, it looks like right in her side, something has jabbed her with something sharp.
All right. How serious is it?
It doesn't look too serious, just like a jab.
All right. I give her attention. It's okay, Venus. It's okay. We'll find it.
I'm shining that light over where Venus was at when we heard the yip.
You can see a place on the floor where there's a little splash of blood, but you don't see anything else. Do a listen roll, both of you.
I
Oh,
passed
09.
that.
Okay. In both cases, you hear something run down your hallway. It's small.
Quickly that way.
Sounds like an animal.
Could be a possum. Possums are pretty vicious.
Well, whatever it is, I want it out of here. So I'll grab my cane and chase down the hall with the light shining, trying to get a glimpse of whatever's in the house.
Okay. Do a spot hidden before you get to the hallway.
Okay.
Both of us or just him?
Just him.
That's a regular success.
Okay. As you're walking by the lamp, what you notice is the cord has been cut.
It's no animal, Virgil. My lights have been cut.
This brings us up to another matter then. As I go, Mars, come here.
He does.
Whoever's in here, show yourself.
There's no response.
We're calling the police.
I suspect something's happened to Mars. I put a
No.
I
Mars was in the kitchen. He comes right to your side.
all right. I put the heavy duty leashes on both of them because I don't want them to get hurt, but I have them raised in case I need to release. And I said, let's check this out then.
Both Mars and Venus want to obey you. They try to take a few steps forward, but as they do, something's got them really spooked. And they keep looking up at you like, please, Master, don't make us walk into the dark.
This is what I get for spoiling them. All right, boys, Venus and Mars. And I take him out just a second. Let's step outside. I'm going to tie him to the front porch.
Okay.
And then we'll go back in and we'll go down the hallway. I'll be looking one way. I guess he'll be looking the other way. Can I try and cover each other?
All right. You're heading towards Langston's bedroom. It's just maybe 10 feet down the hall to the door. The door is open. The lights are off in that part of the house, but it's an overhead light, so it has a switch on the wall. Just as you get to within a foot or so of the door, you're shining your light into the room. Both of you do spot hiddens.
I missed that.
No, I didn't. I blew it.
Okay. You think you see something move rather swiftly around behind a piece of furniture, and suddenly Langston's upright mirror, dressing mirror, suddenly teeters and falls forward and hits the ground and shatters.
Holy cow!
It's behind the dresser.
All right. You go take that side. I'll take this side.
We'll just rush it.
Right.
All right. So let's say right and left side. Langston, which side?
I'm rushing in the left side.
Okay,
I'm on the right side.
You're on the right side. Both of you do luck rolls.
I barely
18.
passed my luck roll.
So I made mine.
All right. Langston, as you move over there, you rush over to that side, shine your light behind it, and just as you're doing that, you sort of in that moment, you can see that whatever it is has climbed up on top of the dresser. It's right in front of you. It is a China doll. It's a little boy. It's dressed in dark blue, almost like it was designed to look like an 18th century, dandy. And it has your cheese knife in its hand, which it immediately slashes at you.
It's
Do you
little
wanna-
boy blue.
Do you want to dodge or do you want to?
I do. I'll try to dodge out of the way. Virgil, it's one of the goddamn dolls, and I failed to get out of the way. I
Okay.
failed that.
It also failed to hit you. So
Okay.
it swings and jams the knife into the tabletop right in front of your face. Virgil, you also see it now.
Oh,
What are you
Should I
going
make
to do?
a sand roll?
yeah.
This-
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
you
try
can
to
do
hit
the,
with-
you can do the sand roll in a minute.
Okay.
Yeah, I immediately hit it with the walking stick if I can.
Okay, go ahead and try.
Yeah, just a regular success.
Okay, it got a 0.5, so it nimbly dodges your smash. You smash right down next to it,
I missed it, Carter.
and in that moment, its little head turns and it looks at you with these glaring little black eyes,
Mm.
and it leaps off of the dresser and very quickly goes under the bed. What do you want to do next? The dogs, you can hear the dogs barking outside because they hear the commotion,
Mhm. It's under the bed, Carter.
and it still has the knife.
You take that side. I'll take this side. We've got to get that knife away from it.
Oh, I agree.
So I'll try to flush him your direction, and so I'll
right.
get down and swing my cane underneath.
Okay, go ahead and do a attack roll. Brawl.
It's a pass.
Okay. You hear your cane connect with something, and you partially pull the doll. Are you trying to hit it away from you or pull it towards you?
Hit it away. I just
Okay.
give it a smack toward the other side of the bed that Virgil's
You give it
on.
a smack, and Virgil, you see for just a moment it rolls out from underneath the bed.
Oh,
Go ahead.
no, I missed.
Yeah, and he got a 3 again. So he's really good at dodging your
Blast, it's so small.
But it's going to try and attack Virgil. So it leaps off the ground with that knife in its hand towards Virgil. Virgil, you want to fight or do you want to dodge?
Oh, I'm going to dodge. I'm not going to try. Let's see. What is my dodge? First of all, my dodge stinks. It's what, half at 30? I'll attempt to fight back because
Okay. It's a fucking doll.
it's a fucking doll. So 25, which is a regular success.
It's a better success than I had.
All right.
So what are you going to do to the doll as it comes at you? Okay. Go ahead and roll damage.
And that's what, a D6 for
It's like
cane?
a cane, yeah. D6. Plus your damage bonus if you've got
I
one.
don't get damage bonus. 4 points. I'm a short man.
All right. That's actually enough to smash its little head.
Nice hit, Virgil.
You whack it, its head shatters into a million pieces. Langdon, do a luck roll. Since you're on the other side of the bed.
I'm lucky. I passed.
Okay, so you managed to shield your face just as you're sprayed with shards of sharp glass. The thing staggers for a moment and flops to the ground dead. The knife now lying there on the floor. Now you
All
can
right.
all do sanity rolls.
Yes. That's what I figured. This is my sanity. Oh, there it is.
Held it together. Past that.
I held mine together. I'll go. This is very strange. All right, carefully pick
Just
up the doll.
take 1 point of damage
Yeah.
if you passed.
All right, I pick up the doll and carefully examine it. Is it
Do a spot hidden.
all right? Spot hidden. 12, which is definitely a hard success.
All right. You are determined to get to the bottom of this. You take it in. You perform an autopsy on it with, you cut it open. You check everything. It is a completely, perfectly normal doll.
Hmm.
Nothing out of the ordinary at all, but very well made.
Virgil,
Yeah.
what the hell is going on here?
I don't know, but I believe that Philip, for all his fantasies and myths, might be onto something here. I suspect that we're all in danger here. You wouldn't happen to have a fireplace or someplace we can burn this doll?
Yeah, in the living room. I
I
agree.
take the doll and burn it.
It burns.
I think we better check on the others.
You can use my phone.
All right, who do you think I should call first?
We'll call Philip. He seems
All right.
to have gotten to the bottom of this quicker than the rest of us.
Yes, 057.
And burning.
God damn it. Phone. Hello, who is it?
Portland, are you okay?
Who is it?
It's Sprague, Virgil Sprague. I'm here with Carter. Seems that he had a doll problem. It seems that you might be right about the dolls.
Everyone's having doll problems. Get over here, quick. Everyone else.
Okay, what about the others? Are the others okay?
Robert's with me. Cope's on his way. Quick, get over here. And I
All
hang
right.
up. I do a Cope and I hang up.
I look at over Carter. Carter, might be. You used to do some hunting back in the day. Do you still have that shotgun?
I can check back in the. I haven't shot in years. I think it's in the back of the closet. If I'm lucky.
Yeah, I mean, I'll say that you probably have a shotgun.
I got yes. Here it is, Virgil.
It's your weapon.
All right. We'll say that within 20 minutes, you guys are all together at Philip Portland's house. And you all are a little wide-eyed and freaked out. What do you guys do?
Well, I think we should need to tell each other our stories. I know that
We'll just
Carter
say you,
got.
we'll
okay.
just say you tell each other your stories.
Well, it seems that we are now going to be attacked by dolls, it seems.
You have all been attacked but me at this moment in time. We must.
That does
I'm
not
not
mean
sure
that I wasn't attacked either. That doesn't mean I wasn't being watched. Could be around us at this very moment.
Well, Robert said he saw something in my bushes. And I go to check to make sure my windows are closed, my doors bolted.
And still
Philip.
peeking out the window.
You now are everybody's together in your house. What are you going to do to try to calm everyone's nerves?
I'm not going to be calm. I'm probably going to be making people more stressed out. So we'll get. with my ramblings, but yeah.
Do a luck roll for me.
It does not, but I'm pottering around whispering to myself and checking the windows and doors. A luck roll. Oh, that was a 92.
Okay, that's good. That's excellent. Dr. Sprague, do a luck roll. Do a spot hidden roll. That's better.
All right.
I am holding my Lee Enfield as well.
28. So yeah, I passed.
All right. So you guys are going to discuss what you think you need to do. And one of you, maybe Philip, maybe somebody else, you decide to make some tea, maybe to calm your nerves. And Virgil, it's supposed to be, I don't know, chamomile tea or something like that. And as you pick up your cup before anybody else is drunk, and you bring it up like this, it has this strong aroma of almonds.
Do not drink. I go, if I'm correct, your tea has been laced with possibly a cyanide derivative.
And Philip, you know that you've got rat poison in the kitchen somewhere.
I throw, even though it's probably fine china or something, I throw it that I found in one of my expeditions. I throw my cup the other side and it smashes. And
Hope just immediately went, just upturned it, poured it out, and then set the glass down.
maybe
Was your
rat
back turned from the pot at any point?
I was checking my back the entire time. I was
The-
always.
There's a doll in here. Here, everybody into the living room.
It's an easy way to find out. The dogs seem to be scared of anything that of this nature. I know Mars and Venus were scared to go anywhere near the room the doll was in. We have our friend's dog here, and I have Mars and Venus here. We could check each room with the dogs and see which one that the dogs do not want to go in.
So who is armed? Who is not armed?
I brought the trusty shotgun.
I have my trusty walking stick.
Yes, I have my Lee Enfield. I also have my Native American hatchet I was gifted a while ago.
All right. As you start to search the house, everybody do spot hiddens.
Plot 2.
Can't see a thing.
I got a hard.
I don't see a thing.
Langston?
Dr. Cope
No,
is
I fail.
freaked.
Right.
Dr.
Dr.
Cope
Cope-
is freaked the fuck out, so he's ultra alert right now.
The first place, Dr. Cope, that you look is in the kitchen, and you find fallen behind the counter is a little box of rat poison, and it's right next to the door leading down to the basement.
Oh.
I'll also
Portland.
give you that. I'll also give you that you open up the basement door just a little bit, and there's an alarming little rattle for a moment, and then you realize that there is a coat hanger that has been all bent out of shape with the hook on one end, as if something reached up and fiddled with stuff, maybe to open the door or.
I will point out.
Slowly open the door, but I'm going to only open it a crack and then use the hook of my cane to slowly pull it
Okay.
open as far away as possible.
Pitch black down in the basement.
Yeah, it has all my artifacts down there, but I've gathered, so there's probably a lot down there.
Portland, God damn you!
What's going on in there?
What?
Well, I found the ingredient used to lace our drinks, and now I've found a straightened out coat hanger, and there, it's probably down in the basement.
Well, close the door. Close the door. Let's
Oh,
trap it
God,
down
that's-
there.
That's the
Using,
worst place it can
using
be.
the cane, push, click.
All right.
We've got it.
You
We've
don't
got
happen
to.
to have
We
the
got to
key.
figure out a plan here. I mean, what's going on?
We need to figure out something.
This is definitely this. You remember Lester? He was telling us the genealogy of the Fowlers and this tie back to Goody Fowler. I'm convinced that witchcraft is involved.
Yes.
And then Virgil, there was the journal, the poem that you pulled out of the journal that De Peyster found at the Historical Society that talked about this wishing stone, and a vow was made over it. Does any of this help us?
Well, obviously, well, I don't know about the poem, but it seems that, if this has to deal with witchcraft, the witch must have imbued all these dolls with some type of essence. If I remember,
There were hundreds of them in that house.
yes, I understand that. Did I keep a copy of the poem, or do I remember it?
Did you take that out of the book?
Yes, I did.
I don't think Lester even knew that it was there. So,
Right.
yeah, you still have the poem.
My heart and soul to you, I give our lives together. We shall live, our vows we make are sealed in stone, that we shall never be alone. Two as one, we shall remain twice as strong. No one in vain shall separate our dearest heart. No rest for me whilst we're apart. Sounds like to me like this might actually be part of an incantation. We need to find this stone.
Well, I mean, everybody knows where that stone is at, and anybody with sense doesn't make a vow like that and just break it over the stone.
True, and who knows if she had done this to each one of her dolls as well.
I'm assuming that this is a vow that she had taken with Clyde.
Yes, but remember,
And then-
Clive left her. Obviously the dolls became her replacement.
The thing about
Portland,
witchcraft-
I always forgot to ask you, why did you go running off?
I have a severe fear of dolls.
Yes, but what caused this? What did you see? Go over it. Tell us from the moment we got to the house, what actions did you take and what did you see?
I snuck around the back. I looked through and she was there naked, dancing with that fucking giant girl doll thing. And then you knocked. And then I walked in and, well, I went to get the pasta. We went in when you guys came through the front, and I don't know, something surrounded me, mixed with the fear of seeing all the dolls and the big doll, and it just made me run.
Yeah, you don't remember anything while you lost.
I suspect that maybe the dolls are her replacement for Clive. I could be wrong.
Well, the bits that I
This-
know of witchcraft is usually there's a way to break most spells, so maybe that stone is a good place to start. As long as we're away from dolls, I'm happy.
Try that.
So far,
It
that's
says-
the only thing we got going. I say we go to it.
Shall we go tonight? Especially since we don't know where the doll or dolls are in this house.
We should
Haste.
go immediately. There's
Well, let's grab some torches and lanterns.
The Paster, what were you trying to say?
I'm thinking it says. It seems like there's this thing with Neb. She doesn't want it to be torn apart. So maybe we should bring them together. But she's dead. So how are we gonna do that?
Oh, I think that they're coming after us.
I think Robert's talking about the two lovers.
Yeah, it's Clyde and crazy old witch.
Oh, you're thinking maybe that if we, well, where is we? It would mean grave digging.
Yes, maybe it would bring her closure if we brought them both together, yes. As long as we're away from dolls. If we're outside, maybe the dolls can't get us if we're out in the open somewhere. That will be perfect for me.
It'll be easier to dig up her body from the potter's field than it would probably be to dig at, because I'm quite sure the other is in some type of family crypt or something like that, or mausoleum, considering how important the family was at the time point.
That would make sense.
What do we want to do, gentlemen? Which just remember, there's going to be certain ramifications if we get caught for grave robbing.
Or we can blag our way out of it. Yes, yes, blag our way. Yes.
Right. Okay. So you
Philip, we have
guys,
a shovel.
Perhaps we
that?
should put this up to a vote to go to the stone, or a vote to try DePaster's theory. It's a macabre suggestion, but I'm getting
I mean,
desperate.
I could be horribly wrong. This is.
We could try both. The stone we could start just to see what it looks like more. Get a closer feel
Yeah.
and then move on to the macabre.
I like your thinking, Borton. That's a good idea.
Seems reasonable to me.
all right. So should we go out to the stone first then? Is what
Cope, are you on board?
I'm on board just so long as these dolls
It'll be
stay the
okay.
hell away from me for the rest of my life.
Just
Right.
we're all together now. We're sticking together. We can solve this.
That's right. We're a team.
All right.
Throw the
So-
shovels in the trunk just in case we need them.
Right.
Got my
Right.
hatchet and my Lee Enfield. I'm bringing that with me because fucking dolls.
Now, I guess you might not be completely aware of this, but inside of a town like this in Massachusetts, it is illegal to fire off rifles and
Oh, yeah, yeah.
you know, you
He-
can go
he is
hunting
aware.
as long as you're out hunting. That's okay. But
He's aware. He's just keeping it close. He'll probably keep it in the car, but
you are going into the North Woods, so you should be
okay,
okay.
that's fine.
Though it's not
We'll have
hunting
it with-
season.
Yeah.
All right. It doesn't take you long to drive to the road that goes into the North Woods. You go in just about, I'd say, 3/4 of a mile, and there is a kind of small sign, but it's one that some of you may have seen before. It says Split Rock, and it's got a little arrow on it pointing to a trail leading off into the woods. The ground is not flat. The ground is going uphill. And the woods are dark because even if the moon is out, the woods are pretty, I forget what time of year we said this was. This is May, isn't it? Or yeah, it's
Yes.
May. So it's pretty dark in the woods.
And cold.
Yeah, probably chilly. All right. So you park your car. There's not really a formal place to park your car. You just park your car. Nobody's going to bump into your car in the middle of the night. It's probably about 9 o'clock at this point. You make your way up the trail. Everybody can do a dexterity roll. See if you have any accidents while you're climbing.
Oh, that's a fumble.
10 out of 50.
Oh, Robert
99.
fumbled.
I failed.
Right.
I rolled exactly a 60, so I
That's-
passed.
That's twisted
If you-
leg is not good.
I got a fumble as well.
Off goes the rifle.
And
All
I
right.
do have my like.
All right. So those of you who failed, you stumble a bit and maybe take 1 hit point of damage. Those of you who fumbled, you get maybe twisted one after the other on the same root that's sticking up out of the ground and hurt your leg. You're going to take a penalty dice on anything where you have to dodge or get out of the way because you're now limping.
Fuck, my one good leg. Jesus
Oh,
Christ.
Robert, we seem to be in sync recently. Ah,
Oh my
not in a
God.
good way.
After a bit, you manage to come up around a little ridge, and up ahead of you is a split rock. This is what it looks like. It's about 20 feet tall, and it has a big, gigantic crack down the middle of it with a kind of it's not here, but there's a big twisted pine tree coming out of the center of the rock. Some of you may have come up here before. It just depends. It is the kind of place that kids come up to and freak each other out. What would you guys like to do?
Well, gentlemen, here we are. Where do we start looking?
Typically, young lovers and kids like to carve their initials or a heart or something. Maybe we should look for that first.
Well, it's granite. They don't manage to carve their initials
Oh, okay.
into the stone.
Looking at the pine tree, how old does a pine tree seem to be?
Well, it's hard to tell because it doesn't have much of a root system, so it's been severely stunted by its lack of being able to grow very much. It's oddly twisted, more than a pine tree should be, and you imagine that it could be hundreds of years old, even though it's bizarrely stunted, like in the Pine Barrens. It's very strange looking. I'd like you all to do listen rolls.
I passed.
succeeded. Just a regular, but
I didn't pass.
I also failed.
Okay, those of you who passed, Langston,
and
Langston and Portland, you guys are standing there looking at the rock, and you think you hear something a little ways behind you. Some rustling noises in the leaves, something moving in this direction, with a pretty big footfall. Like you're so unnerved tonight and expecting to hear the pitter patter of little feet. This doesn't sound like this. This sounds like somebody's coming up behind you. And all of a sudden down the hill, you see a flashlight, and there is somebody walking up the hill behind you. But because of the flashlight they're holding, you can't see who it is. What do you want to do?
Hide! Everybody hide! Let's see who's coming up here.
That means we have to douse our lights.
It's very likely that even from the bottom of the hill they could see your lights.
Yes,
up
yeah. I
here.
mean, they've already spotted us.
Yell down then. Who
Uh,
comes up here?
You're out kind of late, aren't you? It's a woman's voice.
Yeah, wait.
After a couple of minutes, a woman comes up here. She's dressed in blue jeans and a what do I want to say, like lumberjack shirt. She has gray hair. It's very straight and very long, hanging down. She's got it done into ponytails. You're pretty sure she's a Native American. She says, "How to do, folks? What you doing up here so late?"
Oh, just a late night hike, I suppose, to see this rock.
Really? You don't look like teenage lovers or anything like that. She says, "Yeah, we'd come up to see old Split Rock."
Do you live, out of curiosity here, do you live around here?
Yeah, I got a little hut down the hill over there. My name is Rose Three Dogs, and I am one of the last remaining members of the Wampanoag tribe, which is native to this area.
Out of curiosity here, what tales do you know of Split Rock?
Do a spot hidden when you say that.
All right. Yeah, 04. Jeez, oh, Pete.
Okay, when you say that, you realize she's holding a red painted tin can with the word tips written on it. And she says, "Oh, I know all of the stories." And she sets that can down on a tree stump. And she says, "The Split Rock has been a sacred place to the Wampanoag for thousands of years. I myself am appointed as the keeper of the rock. I come up here and I tell stories. I know them all. It's got, most of the kids in the area think that it's got some sort of magic to it. People make wishes on it, but wishes don't always come true the way that you want them to. And people think it cures warts and other diseases. And maybe there is some latent magic in the rock. The stories go all the way back a couple of thousand years. The first story that my people tell is that there were 3 Indian maidens who would dance in front of the rock, and they called the sky spirit down from the sky. And when he sat on the rock to watch them dance, it split the rock, the weight of his God's body. It split the rock. And ever since then, it's been a magical place. The early white man settled in this area, and there are tales that witches would hold rituals in front of the rock, and even there's tales that old Keziah Mason and her coven would come up here and hold rituals. Other than that, and she tells you a few other things like that.
Would you know anything about a Goody
Fowler? Sure,
Yes.
She was one of the witches, but everybody knows about them. Goody Fowler and Sarah Bishop and Keziah Mason. All of them witches, all of them probably burned at the stake or whatever.
Rose, do you put any confidence in these tales that this rock is actually magical?
Well, I don't know about that. Kids come up here all the time. They make their wishes. Ideas are powerful.
I go over to her where she has her little tin cup. I put a $5 bill in there. And I go, you wouldn't have happened to heard of a tale about, and I mentioned the two lovers. The
You're talking about, ooh, that was a long time ago when I was a girl. But you're talking about, what the hell's his name? You're talking about Beckford and that young
yes.
Frank's girl. Yeah, I think I remember that pretty well. Let me see. My heart and soul to you I give. Our lives together we shall live. Our vows we make, are sealed in stone, that we shall never be alone. Two as one we shall remain, twice as strong, no one in vain shall separate our dearest heart. No rest for me while we're apart. I do remember that quite clearly. And
That
it's
is
been
a
what,
hell of a memory.
50 years? Yeah, I've got a good memory. Now, I remember when that happened. And, most of the time when these kids come up here and say things like that, doesn't have much to it. And I could see that Beckford boy. He was just a boy, wild and perpetuous, full of hormones and probably just wanting to get laid. But as I recall that Frank's girl, there was something odd about her, like there was some latent energy there. And I didn't have a chance. See, I would have stopped him. I would have told him not to make such vows in front of this rock, especially if I'd have really sensed what she was all about. But what could I do? Kids will be kids. Always wondered what happened to them.
They're dead.
Well, I can give you an
Been a long time.
extra tale. It seems that they never were together.
Oh,
Mm-hmm. I give the clean version, which means not all the doll stuff. I give that he had married someone else because his family wouldn't allow him to marry her, and that later he died with the wife relatively nearby where she was living, and she became a doll maker who happened to be, and she had taken an apprenticeship under a relative of Goody.
well, it was her grandmother.
Yeah, her grandmother. Yeah, basically. I might bring you a few. I'm quite sure that will put a scare and an interest in some of the folks coming up to hear your tales.
And you say they're both dead.
Yes.
That's a sad story. That's a sad
Yeah.
story.
Rose just recently died. She died of a heart attack.
Oh, that's a shame. She must have been old. I hope her spirit can rest, because after saying those words, it's very likely that she may be a wanderer. She may wander around looking for her lost love.
How would we solve such a problem?
How would you solve it?
Yes, how would we solve it?
Well, I don't see what the problem is. They're both dead, right?
Yes.
Have you ever heard of people trying to break the enchantments or the vows that are stated in front of the rock, and how they might have gone about doing that?
She sort of giggles a little and she says, you act like you believe in this stuff. Have you folks seen anything?
Well, I'll just say that recently some of us have had a change of heart when it comes to the possible reality of things beyond the empirical.
Well, if you all are being disturbed by her spirit, which is what I think you're leading towards, she said she'd never rest until they were together. That's a vow made on this stone. There is some latent magic here. I says, who knows? Maybe her spirit is restless. Maybe she can't go into the next world.
I kind of look over at DePaster and kind of nod my head.
Mumbling to myself. I knew it.
Oh, we appreciate you giving us this fine example of lore that we had no idea about.
Well, thank you for being very generous.
Yes, thank you.
I have no problem when I learn new information that is unique and interesting. That's why I shared a little bit more with you so that you could add a little bit more to your collection. Hmm.
Well, I'll leave you two. If you want to hang out here, that's fine. If you need me, just come back to the rock. I always know when somebody's here.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Rose.
And she takes her tin can.
Yep. I look at the others and go, well, I guess, Portland, we are going to have to do something. But first, before we even do that, we need to know where the young man is buried.
Yeah, Clyde Beckford.
It would be kind of silly to be carrying around a dead body and not knowing where to put it.
That is a good point, Doctor.
The only question is what's going to be easier? I think it's going to be easier to get his body, since it's going to be probably bones and everything, and put it where her body is than try to drag a recently deceased.
Yes, and it shouldn't be too difficult to find, surely.
I'm not entirely sure if that's the case. He may be all bone, but unfortunately, he came from a rich family as compared to our late Miss Hilda, who is now in Pottersfield.
True.
Could be he's buried in the public cemetery, but that's going to be under guard.
True, but if we try to bring a dead body into the public field, that's going to make it even stranger.
Well, first let's
Get what you can
figure
get
out
in
where
this life
he's
right
at.
now.
Yeah, let's find out where he's buried first. We can figure out. Well, one good thing is his family is not big anymore in this area anyway, so it might be a little bit easier to dig up or enter a mausoleum his body is interred in.
Well, there's good news and there's bad news. The late hour is good for the cover of night to dig up a body. I hate to say it, but the bad news is that it's kind of a late hour to be doing research to find out where the hell he could be buried at. Any ideas?
I would like to know where his body is first. We could go to the public graveyard and, without bringing a whole bunch of shovels, with flashlights, just take a look at the gravestones or the. I'm quite sure from his prominent family, they probably had some type of mausoleum or crypt.
The cemeteries of Arkham and most of New England are like mazes. They're big, they're extensive, and all of the graves are big, ornate things and mausoleums. So it might take you a long time to search by doing it, bit by bit.
Or the other thing is we could wait till morning, but that would mean that we had to find someplace to hole up that's safe. And I don't believe any of our houses are safe at this time point.
Do you think that I know Lester locks the Historical Society up at this late, but do you think that there's any record in the Historical Society of
Good
where,
idea, Carter.
I mean, we could bust in there. Find
Lester actually locks up the archives downstairs. The upstairs is still open. It's open because you guys have keys.
Might be a good place to stay too.
Worth shots.
Yes.
I'm certainly not in a position to say no at this moment.
No, and if a prevents, hopefully, the doors won't follow us there, because for me and I assume Mr. Cope now.
You just jinxed it.
Well, keep your eyes peeled. Let's get down this hill.
All right. It takes you a few minutes to walk back down the hill to your car, and
Watch those roots.
you can see there's a little cabin over to the side. That must be where Rose Three Dogs lives. Which there's lights on, obviously. You get in your car and you drive to the Historical Society without any incident. And the door to the historical, and you guys have a key, so you guys go inside, turn the lights on.
Make sure the door is locked behind us so that, and I'm going to go around. I don't know about you guys, but let's check, make sure the windows are secure.
Okay,
All the windows.
easy enough. Everything is secure. Who wants to do a library roll? Okay, Dr. Cope.
All right, I guess I will if no one else is.
I got a 47 out of 60.
All right, you
Okay.
did better than I did. I blew it.
All right. It's the Historical Society. History of Arkham is what you guys do. It takes you really only a few minutes to find information on Beckford and the Worsted Mill and all of that stuff. And you find out that their cemetery is, let's see, Beckford Mausoleum is near the Peasley family plot, and Christchurch Cemetery on the south side of town. So all the way on the other side of town. It makes it sound like a big deal.
Wow.
It's not that big of a town.
I don't know, gentlemen. Do
here
you
it
want
is.
to try to head over there now, or do you want to try to rest tonight and head over there during the daylight, and when we have a better chance to find?
There is no rest, Virgil. There's no rest at all.
Do an idea roll, Virgil.
I think I agree
Um,
with Dr. Cope.
Yeah, I rolled exactly my intelligence 50.
Okay. People like those New England cemeteries. So in the daytime, there'll probably be people in the cemetery.
So we need to go now.
Ah,
So we'll go now.
A bit of grave digging, robbing. Ah,
All right.
You lead the way.
Takes you 15 minutes or so to go across town. This time of night, there's very little traffic. You finally arrive at Christchurch Cemetery. There is a stone wall most of the way around the cemetery with little spikes on the top of it all the way. And then there is a big black iron gate in the front that is currently chained closed. The wall's not
Is there
that
a
high
tree?
either. Yeah, there
Is
are
there
always
perhaps
trees.
a tree that goes against the wall?
There are
Perhaps
trees all
one with
over
a
the place.
limb that goes up and over.
Yeah, I'd say it's not going to be that hard to find something like that.
All right.
I
I'll help
guess
give a
we'll
lift
go.
to people.
Okay, you can all do dexterity rolls to see if you get injured.
Which I have a disadvantage, but I'm pretty good at
Don't
that.
get impaled.
It's gonna be bad.
Okay, that's at a minute.
Ooh.
Yeah, so it was a 19 and a 99. So
Yeah, my highest was 78, but I have 80 in dex. So
Okay, Robert, you start to try to climb up and over, and your previous injury is making it impossible for you to climb. So you really have no choice but to stay on the outside of the wall right there and wait for the others. What did you say, Philip?
I just out of both my rolls, my highest was 78, but I have 80 in dex. So
Okay,
I
so you You managed to get over without any trouble. The rest of you, did you do okay?
Yep, I made it
Yes.
over.
I failed.
Okay.
I
That
failed.
might be better. That way you won't leave the other guy behind. You'll both be able to watch each other. Maybe you
Well,
could be
we'll
I fall
lookouts.
on my ass on the outside.
I'll give you a choice. If you actually went over the gate, then I mean over the wall, then you're going to hurt yourself a little bit. But otherwise, you just couldn't get over, and you're going to stay with
I'll
Robert.
say I couldn't just get over, and I'll stay with the paster.
All right. So the two of you are on the outside. It's not necessarily dark where you are. There's probably street lights nearby, but it is creepy. You're right next to an old cemetery. And the New England cemeteries tend to be overgrown. So there's lots of shadows and lots of what look like people off there in the cemetery, but they're statues. All right, Philip and Langston and Virgil, why don't you do a sort of a who's got the best luck?
See, I got a 65.
Yeah, I currently have 52. So
Well, that'd be me. Then I have a 70.
Okay,
Go for
Langston,
it.
why don't you do a luck roll?
We passed.
Okay. So after about 20 minutes of wandering around, you find it. The Beckworth mausoleum is a big structure. You can tell at some point they had lots of money. So it's this big, imposing sort of structure. There is a big, heavy iron gate on the front of it, and it looks like there's like more to it inside. And there are stairs leading down as well. But the gate is locked. What are you guys going to try to do?
Is it like chained with a lock on,
It's
on it?
got kind of a built-in lock. So there must be a big old key.
And the
No.
stairs, I take it, are on the other side.
On
of
the other side, correct.
Is it open at the top so that if
It is
we did
actually.
find a
The stone archway goes like this, and the gate only comes up. There's probably enough room that you could go over it, but it would be tricky because it's spiky on the top.
yeah, I have my hatchet, but I don't know if that will help us, gentlemen.
Well, we might be able to boost someone up. The other thing we could check out is maybe more than likely the key is at the grave, the keeper of the cemetery.
Right, the gravekeeper. Yeah, the grave.
Do we have now? Would they actually live on premise, or do they actually go home?
This is a fairly large cemetery. It's the Catholic Church. It's actually Episcopalian. They might live on the premises, the groundskeeper. Of course, he wouldn't give you the key.
No, I know.
Well,
I can boost someone over the top.
again, I have my hatchet, but I don't know if that. I don't think that's getting us through.
No, now for iron.
You might be able to pry the door open with the hatchet.
Yes.
If you want
Give
to
it a
try
try.
it? Yeah, we'll
Well,
give it a
yeah,
try.
I'm
Who has the
pretty-
best
I'm
strength?
I've got 70 strength.
Oh, go for it.
All right.
Yes.
Yeah.
Strength and dex are my highest. That is 54. So that's just a regular.
Okay. I'll say with some effort and some pushing and prodding, and everybody sort of trying not to make noise, but at the same time, trying to put pressure on it. You can see the cement around the latch sort of giving way, and it pops out, and the door opens. It actually breaks out the cement.
How is my hatchet? Is it still okay?
Your hatchet's okay. Yeah.
looks like we're in. Let's
All right.
find his remains.
Let's go.
All right. I'm going to say it doesn't take you very long. You go down the stairs, and there is an open area, and there are very clearly labeled the members of the family going back a couple of 100 years, maybe. You find Clyde Beckford. His is obviously the newest looking plaque. The other ones are far more dirty and dusty. His is still dirty and dusty, but you know what I mean. So now the question is opening it up. You'll have to break the seal, so to speak, and yeah, you probably smell the smell of death and the grave.
And remember, they didn't use modern day chemicals on them anymore, like formaldehyde. So this is going to be the body, whatever smells we have there, it's the body and the pure body and decomposition.
Of course, he's been dead for how long? 50 years? Or
I open my little medical bag, pull out a little Vicks, and I pass it around. You want to do this, gentlemen?
Okay.
Certainly.
This will reduce the effects of the smells. It won't be as nauseating.
You'll need to break open the front end
Seal.
because it's cement.
I'll help Philip to do that.
All right. Makes a little bit of noise, but you manage to crack through it. And it falls away, and you see the coffin inside.
All right.
Let's pull it out.
Carefully, as quietly as possible, pull it out.
The coffin is old. It hasn't really had any damage or weather damage. It wasn't placed in the soil, so it actually comes out pretty well. And there's a place in the center of the room where they would probably put it during the final rites or whatever. So you manage to move it over there. It's fairly light at this point. And when you open it up, there is Clyde. Now, there's a little bit of desiccated flesh. The clothes are kind of in tatters. You can actually see in the corner of the coffin, there's a place where probably a rat gnawed its way in. So there's mostly just bones. They're dirty bones.
Gentlemen, I will take care of this part of it. And I will carefully, in a sack, put all the bones.
Okay. All right. So let's see. Nobody notices that you guys have done this.
After we,
Go ahead.
I was going to say, as soon as we get that done, we're going to put the casket back and put the front stone back as best as possible. And as we're going to make sure the door is looks like it's as shut as possible, and head back to the wall.
Right. You get back to the wall, and without much difficulty at all, you manage to get up and over the wall. Robert and Dr. Cope, you guys are waiting outside. You get a rickety bag full of bones, and you guys manage to get out. You get back into the car, and now you start driving back to the north end of town to St. Clair's Cemetery, which is pretty far up there in the corner of Arkham. St. Clair's is dark. The church is old. It's a Catholic church, but it's a small one. The cemetery is much less ornate than the others. The gravestones are fairly uniform and little ovals like this. But it's dark. It's under the trees. It's in the forest itself, so it's very dark. What do you guys do?
Well, we're going to probably look for the recent grave. I do believe that should be relatively easy to find.
Okay. It actually is, only because it's obvious that it's not so many places as you're walking around, because this part of the graveyard's pretty old and this part's old, and you know it's not going to be there. Eventually, you work your way all the way to the back of the cemetery, and you find that there are unmarked graves, and you can definitely see that one of them has recently been dug up.
All right.
Take,
Well, I
take a
think-
good look around and make sure that we are actually alone before we put a shovel in the ground.
All right, do a spot hidden.
My hatchet, because I didn't bring my Lee Enfield, because we're here.
Okay, I failed that by a good
Okay.
margin.
You don't see anything.
Coast is clear.
All right. Why don't we have
All right.
3 people dig and 2 people keep watch?
I can dig.
I'll keep an eye out.
I will
Yeah,
do.
since I'm not hurt, I'll help dig.
All right, Dr. Cope, you're watching. Dr. Phillip, you're watching. I'm Dr.
No.
Phillip, just Philip.
No, I will.
It's Dr. Phil.
Actually, yeah, I'll keep watch, even though I could
Okay.
probably be more useful shoveling, but I will watch.
Okay, Dr. Cope. Go ahead and do a spot hidden for me.
What the hidden? That is an 5.
Okay.
Nice.
They start digging. The ground is nice and soft, easily dug up. But you no sooner take a scoop than Dr. Cope suddenly becomes alarmed. Dr. Cope, in the woods, you can see little eyes staring at you from the woods, and they are close to the ground. They are fucking doll's eyes. There's a doll right over there, and it's watching you. You can do a sanity roll because you already have. You're already terrified.
I failed because it is more than what I have now.
Okay. Do an intelligence roll.
I have a 75 intelligence. This is torture. 27 out of 75.
Then do a 1d8 to see how much sanity you lose.
I'm gonna go so nuts. 2.
All right, so you just start shaking like this, saying, "There's a fucking doll! There's a fucking doll!" You guys all stop and you see.
For the doll.
And
Stay calm. Stay
Philip
calm.
runs completely away, apparently.
Oh, jeez. Don't fall apart, guys. Don't fall
That's-
apart.
I gotta keep on digging. Just make sure they don't come near us.
We're doing what they want. Just stay calm.
Dr. Cope has just noticed a doll, Philip, and pointed it out to everybody.
For the doll. For the.
Philip, do a spot hidden for me.
Where are they? Oh fuck! I see nothing. I didn't see anything. I've just focused on.
Well, no,
him.
you don't. You only see the one. You see the one that he's pointing at. If anybody else looks around, do a spot hidden.
Well, I did stop, so I probably did take a look around.
Oh,
Yeah,
that's a
probably did.
hard.
I don't notice anything. I just keep digging.
I succeeded.
All right. Langston and Robert, you both see something in the woods that's moving, and you realize it's dolls, and the dolls are heading for you guys. And they're, some of them have things in their hands, sticks, rocks, and so forth. All right, Dr. Sprott is digging like heck.
And I'm like, Hilda, we're bringing you together. We're bringing you together. Easy.
Dr. Sprague, do a Do a 1d4.
2.
Okay. So it's going to take you about 20 minutes of digging. But eventually you get down to the coffin.
All right.
And it's a cheap coffin. And the smell is horrendous.
Oh, yes.
What do you do?
I'm going to crack it open.
Okay.
And I still have the sack with the bones.
You crack it open, and for that moment you see the hideous, disfigured, rotting face of Hilda Franks looking up at it. Well, she's not, her eyes are closed, looking up out of the coffin. And then what do you do with the bones?
I pour the contents of the sack in the coffin. And after I do that, I pull out the poem. With my flashlight, I'm going to read the poem.
Before you even finish reading the poem, everybody notices that the dolls drop. They just drop lifeless. And we can say that it takes you a little bit of time, but you fill up the grave with dirt, and the dolls no longer move. And you are no longer bothered by dolls. And that is pretty much the end of the scenario.
Philip will always be bothered by dolls.
Philip always. Actually, you might all be bothered by dolls. Just the
Yes,
idea
yeah.
in here after this.
I'm fairly certain Dr. Cope can't walk into a general store that sells dolls for the rest of his life.
And
Well, I
Langston
don't
will
know.
not be putting a doll into the exhibit museum.
Well, I've always
I
been
broke it.
terrified. Philip's always been terrified, so he's going to be more terrified.
So an explanation. Obviously, the scenario was not about the window. That was just to have you accidentally encounter Hilda. In fact, this scenario can be placed in other scenarios wherever you want, to have somebody run into Hilda in this thing. Hilda is not a witch, but she does have witch blood. She has no idea that she's related to Goody Fowler. In fact, her grandmother probably didn't know that she was related to Goody Fowler. But she had that ancestry, and she had that latent ability, and it manifested in her grandmother by the dolls. The workmanship was all, the best, and that's why they were actually successful. And Hilda still had that ability, whether she knew it or not. But after Clyde broke the vow with her, and then he didn't divorce his wife and kids, and obviously that magic sort of was activated. She was completely unaware of it. But at first, when she would sleep, the doll her soul would sort of move into the doll and animate it. And the doll, in fact, caused the accident that killed Clyde and his wife. And ever since then, even without knowing it, sometimes her soul moves into that doll, a doll, whatever doll, usually the blonde doll that she loves. And then as she got older and more senile and a little crazier, she wasn't really able to distinguish one thing for another. So she was angry at the kids, and the doll ended up killing the little boy. But she also misunderstood your reasons for being there. You must be bad people, and therefore you became the enemy. And then she died, and then her soul still couldn't rest, so it moved out into the dolls. And you were the main target because obviously you had been tormenting her, and it wouldn't stop until a number of things could have happened. You could have performed some sort of exorcism in which case it also might have stopped. But you found the best solution, which was to bring the two bodies together and finally end the curse. And that's the end of our story. Do you have any questions?
I didn't die.
You didn't die. Well, let me go ahead and finish it then, and then we can talk. Our players included Jeff Beck, Nimrod Slor Futterman, Oren Mayer, Grant Dowell, and Josh Harwood, with myself as the keeper of the secrets. We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects We're currently producing up to 4 shows a week with music and sound effects added in post-production in order to create a richer listener experience. We provide audio-only versions of our shows free for you to download from Podbean or iTunes. The costs involved with the show are provided almost entirely by our patrons. Without them, we wouldn't be able to do what we do. If you'd like to help support our show, please visit our Patreon account. Just $1 a month helps us a lot. You can find a link in the description below. Like, share, and subscribe to our channel and punch the bell icon for updates on our latest shows. And leave us some comments. We enjoy reading them and answering any questions you might have. This is Tom Rayleigh, together with all the members of our gaming club, inviting you to journey with us once again into the darkness for another adventure into the universe of H.P. Lovecraft and the Call of Cthulhu role-playing game. Until next time, good luck and good gaming.